same time, the same lakes and that. Now, you started into tournament fishing, you were telling me, actually not that long ago. How many years ago was it?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
And, like, you've fished on and off most of your life, or you just kind of 2 years ago just got hooked on it?
2 years ago, just got hooked on it. Didn't fish much before, and now I'm hooked.
Well, I guess you're hooked because I seen you went out and you bought yourself a fully rigged bass boat. You got a nice bullet there, and you got a nice new motor on the back of it, and it's quite an impressive rig. I really like seeing it move out there on the water. Have you got your motor broke in yet?
Yeah, we've hit almost 80 miles an hour with it.
Okay, so definitely fast enough to blow the hat off your head.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. Now, okay, so let's get back to fishing a little bit here. Okay, if you had to pick a species that would be your favorite out of bass, walleye, pike, everything that's out there, what would you have to say it is right at this moment?
Definitely smallmouth bass.
Definitely smallmouth. Okay. And like, what are some of your not that I want you to give away secrets or anything, but we got a lot of people listening, and just generally, when you go looking for bass, what would be a bait that you would use, like when you're searching, say, a body of water you haven't been on? You've got kind of the structure, rock points, a little bit of wood, sometimes off the edges of weed beds and stuff like that. What would be your go-to bait when you're just trying to look and search and locate fish?
Well, either a spinner or crankbaits, cover a lot of water, something that you can pull through quick.
Okay. So you said crankbaits. God, that's a big, wide open field. Can we narrow it down a little bit?
Probably a 3 to 5 foot range diver, X-Wrap, or Life Target. Strike Pro actually got some pretty good stuff. Okay.
And like, what kind of retrieve would you be using? Would you be using stop and go, or just burning it through, or just trying to get it to just move?
Burning it through mostly. Get a reaction strike. Okay.
And then after you get the reaction strike, what do you do? Go back then with something different, like tubes and jigs or Senkos or something like that, to try and localize and get a feeling for size of fish on that particular spot?
Yeah, slow it down definitely, and change it up. Try for some big ones.
Okay. So now here's a good question. Between crankbaits and hard body baits and spinner baits and soft plastics, what would be your go-to? Like, if I'm sitting there and you got 3 baits in the boat, you got a spinner bait, a hard bait, and a tube, what would be the thing that which rod would you reach down and pick up first without even thinking? Just reach down and pick it up.
I like tubing.
You like using tubes?
Yeah. It's still new to me, but it's a finesse thing, and it always seems to produce some decent fish.
Okay. Now, so if we were talking to just somebody in a store and they said, "Oh God, what kind of tube would I get? What kind of size?" And maybe give them a description of the feel of plastic and that you would be looking for.
Probably a 3-inch. I like the brown myself, pumpkin seed. Quarter-inch weight, 3/8 weight.
Okay. Now, the actual feel of the tube, do you like something with a little bit more consistency with it, or thin wall or thick wall, something that has more sustenance, or do you like something very light?
Usually the bigger ones, the thicker wall ones.
Okay, something that would be made like, say, a Mismo brand or something along that line?
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. That's something that we can, we can bring over to the fishermen that are, just getting into it, and, not everybody's got a boat to get out there, but right offshore, tubes work well because you can rig them with a jig inside, or you can rig them Texas style so that they're weedless. There's 100 different ways of doing presentations with tubes, but what a lot of people don't realize is they were predominantly designed for bass, but and a lot of people don't realize that the tubes will catch just about anything out there. I've seen lake trout caught on them. I've seen walleye. I don't know. I'm a firm believer that artificial baits can outproduce live bait a lot of the time. And what's your feeling on that?
Oh, definitely. I've proven it to friends and stuff. Definitely outproduce, and it's much cheaper.
Well, yeah, you buy a handful of baits in a store, you put them in your tackle box, and you're not having to buy fresh bait each time you go out.
Exactly. You don't have to try to keep them alive, but definitely a good presentation to go with. You can't go wrong.
Okay, awesome. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show. So we'll be having you on again.
Well, thanks for having me.
Okay, not a problem, Jean-Guy, and we'll be talking to you later. Thanks a lot.
Your outdoor lifestyle brand.
Sticks and stones. Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones. Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones. Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones. Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones. Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones. Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones. Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones. Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones.
Sticksandstone.ca.
Strike Pro, casting into the future, the secret weapon of your tackle box. Strike Pro lures have been the choice of many anglers around the world and have won many fishing tournaments and competitions worldwide. Whether you're a tournament pro or a recreational angler, don't go fishing without lures from Strike Pro. Remember, limit your catch and release for the future.
When winning is on the line, the winning line is McCoy. McCoy's Advanced Super Braid uses polymer-saturated Spectra fibers to create a super strong, super tough premium line. Reinforcing the Spectra fibers gives our braided line greater resistance to breakdown and deterioration, UV exposure, and eliminates water absorption. McCoy's Super Spectra braid is 15% stronger and 5x more abrasive resistant than similar diameter Spectrum lines.
Internet inquiries brought to you by Team Roscoe Power Sports, your BRP product dealer in Kirkland Lake, Ontario. Give Tanner a call and he can set you up with your accessories, ATVs, snowmobiles, outboard products, fishing products. And give him a call at 705-567-4411. Again, that's Team Roscoe Power Sports.
Welcome to Fishucation. Robin Amiot here, and we got Nathen Amiot, and this is Internet Inquiries, where people get a hold of us via the Internet or text or Facebook or through our website, and they post a question, and we try to give them the best answers possible that we can find. Today's inquirer is Andre Demers out of Cobalt, Ontario, and I guess he's a bit of a speckled trout fisherman, or he's going speckled trout fishing, because his question is, what kind of speckled trout baits do we use in stream fishing? Well, I know you haven't done a whole lot of speckled trout fishing as of yet. I know you've been out a couple of times, and you've been somewhat successful the few times you've been out, Nathen. In my younger years, I used to go all the time, and I haven't been in a while, but it's probably time to hone in my skills again. So if you want to maybe go over what you were using at the time you went out, and what you were doing. Now, I know you weren't on a stream, but you were right at the mouth of a stream on a very, very small lake.
Yeah, well, like you said, I haven't done a whole lot of speckled trout fishing. From my limited experience, it's definitely a fun fish to go out for. But what I've generally used when I go out is I'm usually using a small inline spinner. Usually I like using a small copper blade on the spinner, and usually trailing with a night crawler harness behind it. The color that I'm using, like I said, usually changes. I try to follow the real bright day, bright colors, dark day, dark colors. So the darker the water, the darker the day it is, I'll generally use a darker color, but on nice bright days, I like a nice bright blue or something like that.
Okay. Well, the speckled trout fishing that I've done in the past, usually in streams, very tiny, very shallow water. a little bit of currents, more dark tea-stained water. Presentations I've used are, I'll use a little 6-foot spinning rod, light action 2 or 4 pound test. And sometimes I'll use a small clear bobber, and I'll use a small fly if I'm not in there with an actual fly rod, something like a Royal Coachman or a muddler minnow fly. And you can use the float to keep that fly moving and along the surface, and the float gives you the weight to be able to cast it a little bit. And that's one good presentation. Night crawlers are definitely probably one of the most common and most popular ways people use to catch these fish, because they are quite elusive, and when you're walking up to the banks, walk up softly. Footstep vibration does transmit down into the water, and it will spook the fish. But very tiny crankbaits, little minnow imitation baits, small inline MEPS spinners, very, very tiny, maybe a 1/16 of an ounce. And if you got a bit of a riffle, throw them in at the riffle and bring it back towards a bit of a pool. And Speckle trout are aggressive hitters, and when they are turned on, you can catch them by the bucket load. But I'm not saying keep a bucket load. You got to respect the catch and release, as well as what the limits are. But there's all throughout northern Ontario, and I know northern BC has all kinds of creeks and streams all over that are full of speckles. And I know out there where you are in Alberta, these same streams will have grayling in them also out in your area. Out here in Ontario, we don't have the grayling, but we've got speckles and we've got rainbows. And a few lakes, the Ministry of Natural Resources is actually bringing up and doing quite well with an aurora trout, which was almost extinct to one point. So I hope, Andre, that we've answered some of your questions, and we're going to definitely get you off some of our Fishucation gear and tackle gift pack. And come on, folks, keep the questions coming in through the internet. Every time we use them, we will definitely make sure we get back to you and get you some of our gift packs out there to make your fishing experience that much more fun and more enjoyable.
Fishucation brought to you by these fine sponsors: Texarillo, the Ultimate Roadhouse Band; Strike Pro, Casting into the Future; Bombshell Turtles, the answer is finally revealed; Eagle Claw Rods and Reels; Mona's Fish On Bait and Tackle; McCoy Fishing Line; Team Roscoe BRP Products; River Run Resort in Susquehanna, Ontario; Hunters Bay Marine, Legend and Triton Boats; Sticks and Stones outdoor lifestyle brand, hunting and fishing apparel.
It's Friday morning and the weekend's here, and I've been working like a dog. I just can't wait to hit that lake and reel me in a hog. So I call up the boss, said, listen, hoss, I ain't making it to the station. It's a mighty fine day and I'm itching to play. I'm gonna start my Fishucation. If it's a high pound test you're looking for, I bet I could lower you in. We know the deal on rods and reels, shiny things that spin. So stay a while, don't touch that dial, you might find some inspiration. I'll take your call, hook, bait, and all. We're gonna start our Fishucation. Our Fishucation.